Hey guys, Willy here again with another episode of Embroidery Hub. For this episode, I'm going to show you guys how you can embroider an applique design that uses multiple pieces of applique fabric. This technique is a great way to create unique designs made out of multiple fabrics embroidered together. And as I do in every episode, I'm going to show you a step-by-step to complete this project, the materials you're going to need, and what kind of profit you can expect from a specialty item like this one. And before I begin, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with the latest of Embroidery Hub. Alright guys, so these are the materials we're going to be using today. Now as always, I have my hoops. Today I'm going to be using my magnetic hoops. So we made a couple of videos in the past using these magnetic hoops. They're really good for very thick garments, or you can really use them for anything. They're just really helpful. If you guys want to see more about these, go in the description below. We're gonna have a video there for you. I have one sheet of thick cutaway stabilizer. I have my scissors like always, and then I'll have my glitter sheets, which are gonna be heat transferred or iron on depending on what you want to use. And then I have my sweater. In this case is going to be a black jean jacket. So today I'm using the one and only the MT1501 Ricoma 15 needle machine. Now this machine, we've used it in previous videos. If you want to learn more about it, go ahead in the description below. We're going to have a video there for you. As usual, I'm going to be using the regular 40 weight thread and a 75 by 11 needle. The only difference is that today I'm using the magnetic hoops. So let's get into the hooping now. First thing I'm going to do is make sure I have my sweater opened, and I'm going to be placing it upside down, the back piece on the bottom. Okay, so all I'm doing right now is just making sure that it's nice and straight, and I'm going to use the bottom part of the hoop. So I'm going to separate it, and this part I'm going to bring it under. Now as you can see, this jacket is really thick. But I'm going to be using one sheet of cutaway stabilizer just to make sure, since I only have one jacket, that I don't mess this up, and all I have to do afterwards is cut around the back of the design. All right, the last thing you have to do is pretty much just bring it in. Now I always like to find my center, so as long as you can stretch this over to the center, you should be okay. All right, that looks pretty good. All right guys, so let's jump into the profit potential now. Now, I purchased the jacket in the Levi's clearance section for $20 for just one. But like I always tell you guys, you could always find these jackets or any materials cheaper when you buy them wholesale. Alright, so I bought this glitter iron-on transfer paper rolls in a Joann store for $8. I'm going to be using 3 different colors, so it's a total of $24, but I'm not going to be using the full row. So just remember, you could always cut them in pieces and use it for different projects or for more jackets. Okay, so let's jump into the math. For the jacket itself, it was $20, and for the glitter sheets, it's a total of $5 since I'm not going to be using the full 3 rows. Now, I have made my research, and these jackets are going on Etsy for anywhere around $100 and up. Now, you could always sell it for $100 depending on the size of the design and get a profit of minimum $75. All right, guys, so let's get into the digitizing portion of this project. We're going to be using the Ricoma digitizing software. We're going to be using the Luxe edition. If you guys want to learn more about the software, scroll down to the description below. When it comes to applique embroidery, the most important thing is creating the tray stitches. What these do is that they let you know exactly where you need to place the applique fabric. So it's very important that you have a tray stitch underneath every single satin stitch that goes on top of the applique embroidery. Now to create these tray stitches, make sure you have these settings, which is a regular run stitch going right in the middle of the satin stitch that you're going to be placing on top on a standard 2.5 millimeters away. You don't want it to be too far away because it could potentially bring the stitches a little bit higher and not actually catch. All right, so for example, I'm going to create one of the tray stitches for one of the applique embroidery pieces. So all you have to do is go over that piece and then press on your right click on the mouse key and then press the copy. And then you're going to redo the same process, but this time press the paste. So you're gonna have one on top of the other. Now the one that's under, you want to choose that one and you want to right click and convert it to a regular run stitch. Now as you can see, once you do so, you're going to have it at either a 0.3 or sometimes it could even be all the way up to a 3.0, It depends on what were your last settings. So in this case, I'm going to put it as a 2.5 regular standard type, and then I'm going to press apply. Now make sure that they're going to be in a different step so that once the machine reads this design, it knows that the straight stitch is just one and then the satin stitch will come after. So you're able to place a frame out option after the tray stitch. And that way you can place your applique fabric. So here we have the tray stitch, and here we have our satin stitch that's going to be holding on to that applique fabric. And then you just repeat this process for all the other shapes that require an applique fabric. Let us know in the comments below if you've ever done a project like this for yourself, a friend, or a customer, and what did they think? And how much did you make if you sold it to someone? All right, so let's put in the hoop into the machine. Make sure that it's nice and locked. It's not gonna go anywhere. We don't have anything that's going to be inside where the needle is going to be stitching. So just make sure that area is nice and clear. All right, so let's go over the panel now. The first thing we're gonna do is insert our USB. I have already done this and transfer my design from the USB memory over to the machine's memory. So all I have to do is choose my file sections and look for the design that I want. So in this case, I'm going to be using this one, and I'm going to be pressing the OK button. It's gonna load, take me back to my home screen, and there we go. Now this is a great hoop to use because of the size. Now I could use a bigger size hoop since I am using the magnetic hoops. So I am going to go over the F hoop and select it, which is closer to the magnetic hoops in size. Okay, so let's go over to our color selections now. As you can see, I have already saved my color sequence, but I want to explain to you what these Fs on these color stops mean. What these Fs mean is that there's a frame out after this color step. A frame out means that the machine will automatically stop after this color step. It'll then pull out the frame so that you can remove or add your applique fabric. So that means that we're going to have a frame out after each one of these color steps. So I'm going to show you how you could add or remove an automatic frame out option in this machine. All you have to do is select the color step and press the F on the right corner here. And to remove it, you have to just select it again or select whichever one you want to remove it from and press it one more time. Now that we have this set, all we have to do is press the OK button. It's going to load us back to our home screen. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and lock our machine, put our speed up to 1,000 stitches a minute, and select the area where we want our center to be by pressing these arrow keys. All right, so I think this is where I want to be. Now I'm going to make sure that I'm physically in the center by tracing my design and looking at needle number 1. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now, as you can see, I am using this laser device, and I love using it because this way I don't have to put my hands anywhere around here, and I know exactly where it's gonna go. It's just one of my favorite things that I like to use. I just wanted to show you guys. If you guys want to learn more about this laser device, go in the description below. We're gonna have a link there for you. All right, guys, so we have our jacket hooped, we have our design already digitized, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're gonna press the start button. The machine is going to do the first stitch, which is the first tray stitch, and then it's automatically going to stop, frame out, wait for me to add that first applique, and then press the start button. This way the machine is going to bring it back to its position and stitch on top of the applique. Once that's done, it's going to frame out again, wait for me to rip off the old applique, and we're going to repeat that process until we're pretty much done with the whole 3 appliques that we need to put into this design. Let's go ahead and press the start button, and then I'll show you this process. All right, so I'm going to put the first sheet of our applique on, and just make sure that you are covering the whole tray stitch to make sure it doesn't go anywhere outside of this area here. Okay, I think that's good enough. You could always add some tape if you like to. I think this is gonna be fine because it's going to do it really quickly and just hold it down. So let's just leave it as it is and press the start button. All right, so let's rip off the first sheet of applique. It's just very simple, just ripping it off, nothing to it. All right, so now once I took it off, now I'm going to press start so it can give me the next trace stitch. All right, so let's put the second round of applique. As you can see, I'm covering all the red. So this should be good here. Let's go ahead and press the start button. All right, so let's go ahead and take this one off now. Just rip off. Look at that, nice and neat. Okay, and we're gonna press start again, and it's gonna do the next trace stitch. Okay, so now what we have to do, it's the same process. Let's put on the last sheet of applique. Make sure we're covering this trace stitch and we're good here. All right, let's just go ahead and press the start. All right, so this is pretty much the last step of applique. Let's go ahead and do the same process. Let's rip it off, nice and smooth. Later on, we can go into little details and take off any other closed areas like this one. We could take that off afterwards. Right now, I just want the design to finish up. So let's just go ahead and go with it. Now all I have to do is just press the start button and it's gonna continue with the design. All right, so now that we're completely finished, all I'm going to do is just take these center holes right here and just open them up. Make sure everything else is nice and neat. If you need to do any cleaning, you should do it now. Because from now on, all we have to do is just put it on the heat press so that this applique can really stick to this sweater. All right, let's take it off. All right guys, so today we're using the HP 16x20. This is one of the newest heat press we have. If you guys want to learn more about this heat press, scroll down to the description below. All right, so I'm going to be putting it at 310 degrees Fahrenheit and at a total of 15 seconds. This should be enough to adhere the applique fabric to the garment. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. As always, I'm using a Teflon sheet to protect the garment and for the heat to nicely be spread out. Okay guys, so as always, we need to make sure we always take the backing that we use. We either rip it off. In this case, we need to cut it off because it is a cutaway stabilizer. So I'm going to go really quickly right over it. You don't have to go as close. Now I did use a stabilizer for mine. For some jackets, like thicker jackets, you might not need to use it, but it's totally fine. Sometimes if you're not sure, it's best to just use stabilizer just to be safe. Alright guys, I hope this episode inspires you to take on another project like this that incorporates multiple pieces of fabric into one eye-catching design. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button and let us know if you have any questions about this project in the comments below. Also, if you want to connect with other apparel decorators like myself, join our free Facebook group, Embroidery and Custom Apparel Mastery. There you can ask questions and join the community. Also, for the latest in the world of decorated apparel, follow us on our Instagram page at Ricoma HQ. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.